All right, so welcome to the Partner Project. Trying now to, there we go. The Partner Project is a project funded by the Office of Special Education Programs by OSAP. It was funded under the Paraeducator Personnel Preparation competition by OSAP, and we were lucky enough to get one of the awards. One of the things that we did find out is that this was the last year that they were going to be funding those proposals. So I'm glad that we decided to go ahead and submit our proposal because they're not going to be holding this competition again. Our project began in January of 2012, so just a few months ago, and the purpose of the project is really to assist community college faculty who are interested in enhancing their early childhood curriculum to better prepare associate degree teachers to work with young children who have diverse abilities.
And those photos, by the way, are children who that would be the kind of clothing they would wear if, in fact, there was winter.
Right. Right now, we probably all are wearing shorts and T-shirts. Project staff is Bill McInerney and myself are co-PIs on the project. Lynn Hale is the project manager. Stacy Pistorova is our faculty liaison at Terra Community College. Camille Catlett, who I think many of you probably know, is a consultant on the project. Sheila Doles is our website developer and all-around tech helper. And Gwen Weber is a graduate assistant on the project. So right now, if you would, I'm going to ask you just ask you if you would introduce yourself and tell us who you are. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it's looking like Donna isn't able to. Donna Ruland isn't able to talk. So
I think you have to mute it.
She says, let's see. There. Okay. Carrie, are you on now? Okay. Donna, are you on now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that, Donna. We'll get it right. We'll get it right one of these days. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yes, I'm Donna Ruland, Director of Professional Services here at the Ohio Child Care Resource and Referral Association. I oversee the registry, the systems with the registry, been working with professional development and the program coordination piece. And we work with the training technical assistance system throughout the resource and referral our agencies across the state.
Great, thank you. Katrina Bush.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Katrina Bush, and I'm with the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. I work largely in the arena of early intervention, collaboratively with ODH, the lead agency for Part C of IDEA. Our department certifies early intervention specialists across the state, and we are very interested in supporting activities for professional development, cross-sector, getting people engaged. It's really great.
Good, thank you. Kimberly Travers.
My name's Kim, and I am serving on this project as a parent. I have 2 children who have special needs who received Part C services and are now receiving Part B services. Kirsten's 5 and Elena's 9. I have a little bit of early intervention background and have done some training with Special Quest, and I'm a master coach for early intervention.
Great. Thank you. Christy.
I'm Christy Preddy-Frontak, and I'm faculty at Kent State University, and I prepare people to work with young children from birth to age 8, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Well, you do many other things, but I guess that's right now.
Well, some things.
Lisa.
friends. This is Lisa Garofalo. I'm the Early Childhood Education Manager for the Cincinnati Public Schools up until June 29th.
Oh.
And then I'm joining the ranks of the retired.
Ooh.
Ooh, hard to believe, I know. But we have a long relationship with Bill and Laurie, and very satisfied through the years. Lots of input, lots of impact on our services. So
I'm going to let you.
glad to be participating for right now.
You can keep that going.
Okay. Good.
Hi there. My name is Sheila.
Lynn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Okay. I'm Lynn Hale. As Laurie said, I'm the project manager, which basically means I try and keep the day-to-day wheels running. I've been working with Bill and Laurie on the grants for about 10 years now, and we seem to have got things going pretty well. So anything day-to-day, whatever, you can contact me.
Great, thank you. Stacy?
Old friends on too.
All right.
Okay, it is right below.
How about you,
See,
Stacy?
ours may look different than yours as well.
I'm Stacy Pishorova, and I'm the lead faculty at Terra Community College. I've been here for 2 years, so I'm actually the only full-time faculty here, so I keep myself busy.
Great, thank you. And Bill?
Okay.
Stacy, why don't you? I was going to say, Stacy, why don't you just give the other people a general idea of where you're at in Fremont and kind of your service catchment area?
We're located right outside of Fremont, Ohio, and we serve most of the students from Fremont, but some students come from the Tiffin area, and we have about 110 students in our program right now.
Great.
Thank you. I'm Bill McInerney, and I'll be working with Laurie and Lynn on the project, and I have run into most of you someplace here or there, and for those of you I don't know, Kim, nice to meet you, and looking forward to working with you.
Great. Okay, thank you. And Bill is going to take us on the tour, the website tour, so hopefully that will go smoothly. And I know that you have a lot of patience, so we appreciate that. I wanted to give you some background information about our project and then share with you what we've been doing and what we plan to do. Here's some background information for you that basically we took from the proposal. As you all know, this is definitely speaking to the choir, but when we talk about the importance of teacher education or the importance of early childhood education, research consistently points to the fact that the teacher is really the most important and most effective component of a high-quality early childhood program. In the past, we know that OSAP has funded personnel preparation to prepare early childhood special education professionals and early intervention professionals. This is one of the first competitions that they've run to prepare essentially those in terms of early childhood education, people who would be considered general early childhood teachers. So we're really excited about being able to work with programs that support general early childhood teachers that young children with disabilities may have as teachers when they're included in regular education programs. And again, you know, this is again speaking to the choir. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going to unmute Carrie. And I see that Gwen just joined us.
Can you hear me?
I can, Carrie. You want to say hi?
Hi, it's a miracle.
Can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Carrie Beyer. I'm with the Erie County Board of Early Intervention, the Erie County Board of Developmental Disabilities, an early intervention supervisor, and I am also the project director and clinical supervisor for Help Me Grow in Erie County.
Super. I'm glad that you made it in. I'm glad we finally got all that tech stuff figured out.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
When we were writing the proposal, many of you know, because I was hounding you for either letters of support or data or whatever, so I really appreciate that. Here's some information that we found out, that there were about 23,000 preschool-age children who receive special education services in Ohio, and close to a third of them spent 80% of their or more of their time in regular early childhood programs. Now, we all know that that's sort of deceptive because the definition of regular early childhood program also includes district-sponsored preschools. So, you know, right now it's pretty difficult to tell where children are spending their time if they're in general education classrooms. And maybe some of you later on when we have questions and discussion, if you know of any other data sources for digging those numbers up, that would be very much appreciated. We also, when we pulled the proposal together, we found that based on NACRA data, we believe that there are an additional 11,000 children, about over 11,000 children with special needs from the ages of birth to 6 who could potentially need child care, but may not be receiving it because their parents either you know, haven't entered the workforce. That a lot of times parents of children with special needs, as Kim can probably tell you, and others may not believe that there's early childhood programming or child care available for their young children who have special needs. So we know that there's a need out there for teachers to work with young children who have special needs. Another thing that we did when we were looking for data, we did a telephone survey of all of the OCRA, Ohio Child Care Resource and Referral Association, all of the regional offices that provide child care R&R. We were able to reach 8 out of those 11 service delivery areas, and the data that we have indicated that in 2010, about 348 families across Ohio asked about child care availability for their children with special needs through OCRA. So it tells you a little bit about the need for the project. Bill and Lynn, if you want to jump in, feel free. We try to calculate the number of teachers, or when we look at need for the project. When I talk about inclusion, I'm really thinking about inclusion in terms of natural proportions. I'm not talking about like a 6 and 6 model where there's 6 kids with special needs and 6 kids, typically developing children in a classroom. So even if we were to assume a maximum of 3 children with special needs in each early childhood classroom, out of 15, that would be 30%. The state of Ohio would need over 2,400 community-based early childhood teachers who can work effectively with young children who have disabilities and their families. Pam Witten and her colleagues in 2005 conducted a study of higher education, and they found that more than 55% of associate degreed early childhood programs do not offer any course that specifically focuses on meeting the needs of young children with disabilities in their higher ed curriculum. In addition to that, less than 50% of associate degree programs in early childhood offer a course specific to working with families of young children, and less than 11% offer a course specific to collaboration with other professionals. So, you know, people who graduate from associate degree programs in early childhood education are often not very well prepared to work with young children who have disabilities and their families. Only 36% of those programs surveyed required students to complete a practicum that provided any kinds of hands-on experience with children who have special needs. And so when we talk about regular early childhood teachers feeling anxious or ill-prepared to work with young kids who have special needs, it's no wonder that they feel that way because, in fact, many of them are ill-prepared to work with kids who have special needs. And as we all know in education, they are more than likely going to encounter young children who have special needs. Either they're referred and are on IFSPs or IEPs, or they haven't yet been referred, or their disability hasn't yet been identified. So we believe that provides a really strong rationale for the project. So, so that kind of gives you a nutshell about the need for the project. In preparing our proposal, we were lucky enough to recruit 3 colleges who said they were interested in working with us on this project. And the first is Tara Community College, and Stacy Pistorova represents Tara. In terms of key features of the project, this really our project is going to focus on a 2-year, pretty intensive involvement with each of these 3 community colleges. Between 2012 and 2014, we're going to be working with Tara. Between 2013 and 2015, we're going to be working with Cuyahoga Community College. And then finally, at the end of the project, we're going to be working with Stark State Technical College, which is located in Canton, Ohio. So when we were writing the proposal, we sent out a call, asked people who would be interested in working with us, and these were 3 of the colleges that raised their hands and said yes, they'd be interested in working with us on this project. And so we're very grateful to Stacy and to some of the other faculty liaisons with whom we'll be working. A key feature of this project is the provision of high-quality professional development to early childhood faculty at those institutions so that we can help them to enhance their own knowledge and skills related to young children who have disabilities and their families. Many of the early childhood faculty who are teaching general education courses have limited knowledge or experience in working with young children who have special needs and their families, and so we hope through the provision of professional development that we can help them come up to speed a little bit in terms of their own content knowledge. And just by the way, one of the things we're going to be doing is through webinars, so this is definitely an area that we are going to need to work on. We're also, in addition to providing professional development to the faculty members, we are going to be working with each of these 3 institutions to help them identify and enhance appropriate practicum sites for students who are enrolled in their 2-year early childhood program. One of the key requirements of the OSAP competition was that students who were enrolled in 2-year programs would complete a practicum that included working with young children who have disabilities. So one of our tasks is to work with Stacy and our other colleagues to help them identify early childhood programs in their region that may be suitable practicum sites for their students. The partner project is also going to be working with cooperating teachers at those practicum sites and to help them learn, or not learn, but help them to enhance their ability to mentor 2-year early childhood students and to work effectively with them. Finally, we hope to also work with all of the community college faculty across Ohio through a website that we've developed that Bill's going to share with you, as well as an annual full-day workshop that will be held in conjunction with the OAYC conference. We are holding one of those workshops this spring, in about a month at the OAYC conference. It's going to be on Saturday. We've sent out an invitation to 2-year faculty, and hopefully OAYC is also going to help us spread the word about that workshop. Another look, some other things that we're going to be working on as part of the partner project. A primary part is a year-long curriculum revision process in which we engage all faculty members, part-time and full-time, at our partner institutions in helping them to look at their courses, look at the course syllabi, and see how they can embed content and material about working with young children who have special needs into their courses and into their programs. And also, in addition to the courses, looking at program policies and program practices that really enhance the ability or the preparation that their graduates have in terms of working with young children who have special needs. I believe that I've talked about number 2 and number 3, the webinars that we're going to be conducting and the work that we'll do with cooperating teachers at those practicum sites. Lynn and Bill, jump in if you need to.
Okay. Well, so far.
Okay, good. We just held, in February, we held our first retreat, full-day retreat at Terra Community College. Camille Catlett, who's a consultant on the project and has done a lot of work in higher education in terms of systems change, again, is a consultant, and she led the retreat using her crosswalks model that she and others have developed and implemented in other paraeducator projects throughout the country. So we were really lucky to have her to be able to work with us. 9 faculty members participated in the retreat at Terra. 1 who was full-time, and that was Stacy, and then 8 who were part-time. We asked them to complete some give us some demographic information, and I just wanted to take a minute to share that with you here. You'll see that most of them had a lot of preparation in early childhood, have worked at Terra for a number of years, and are very experienced in terms of providing direct services to young children. 6 of the six of the faculty members have master's degrees, and 3 of them had doctoral degrees. Stacy, do you want to chime in at all about your faculty?
I don't know.
We're really excited to be working with the faculty at Terra. We know a number of them. They've done their graduate work with us at UT, so I think we felt in many ways that it was kind of coming home to work with people that we know have the knowledge and skills that they need to work with kids, including kids with disabilities. So it's really fun to be able to start with the folks at Terra. One of the things that we asked the faculty members to do prior to the retreat was to report on their own perceived strengths and needs in regards to a range of topics related to working with young children who have disabilities and their families. And so I won't bore you with the needs assessment. I think I sent you the results of that. And in terms of strengths that they reported on, most of them felt very comfortable and reported as a strength their ability to focus on age-appropriate rules and expectations that children need to meet in the classroom. So sort of like managing the learning environment sorts of things. They felt a lot less strong and felt a need in terms of learning more about augmentative or assistive technology, implementing transition plans and services across settings. They really felt like they needed resources to be able to teach their students at community colleges about high-quality transitions. And then finally, supporting the participation of culturally and linguistically diverse family members in their teaching and training practice. That I could tell you a lot about their needs. I won't do that right now because it would just take up too much time. But those are sort of highlights that came out of that needs assessment survey. So I think that's the thumbnail sketch of the partner project. What I'd like to do now is see what kinds of questions that you have or comments that you have. Okay. No questions about the PowerPoint presentation. So I think what I'll do is go ahead, and Bill is going to share information about the website with you. We hope this goes smoothly. I'm trusting it will. And I'm going to ask Sheila to help us out, help us do that. Thank you, Pete. So you'll need to find his name.
Yeah.
Look under staff. See.
Hmm.
Here. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What happened? Oh, you closed out the slideshow.
Okay, so now Bill is now the presenter on the webinar, and Sheila's going to, and there you see the website screen on your computer. So go ahead, you want to help Bill? Yeah.
Oh, it's like being on TV. Am I live? So hypothetically, my cursor is what you see. Is that, can somebody confirm that? You see my cursor moving on the screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah, great. So this is,
move your window so we can't see your desktop.
there you go. All right. Everybody good now? Got a full screenshot?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So this is our initial website. It is obviously something we wanted to jumpstart this by creating a fairly comprehensive website, but it's organic, so we'll be moving things in and out, and we may be adding some things depending on what some of the constituents identify as areas of interest. But let's just go through it so you see the general structure. You're looking at the home page. There's a overview of the project. You can read that at your leisure, and Laurie's already covered most of it, but basically the focus are these 3 institutions across northern Ohio over the next 4 years. A discussion of our focus on helping faculty enhance their curriculum to address issues related to the inclusion of young children with special needs. There's some information on the project staff. Apparently, I'm still the only person who's been folding a photo up there, but you know, that'll be, for what that's
You could
worth.
click on there, Bill.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So that's what I look like, maybe, depending on what day. But yeah, that's there's the basic version right there. So we all have a little bit of information about who we are, so that once again, the teachers and supervisors we work with in the community colleges will have a little better personal idea of who they're working with. And we have the descriptions of the 3 participant community colleges, and the link takes you right to their websites, good information. And of course, the 3 colleges will probably become a little more familiar with their curriculum now that they're part of the target audience. And we have you folks here identified, and we found a couple of errors which we're going to fix in terms of some typos and appropriate identification. But by and large, that's the group of colleagues who agreed to participate on the advisory board. Happy about that. Under project resources, it's a little text dense, but those are the areas we identified as areas of focus. And under each one of those links, folders, there's links to other information related to those particular topics. This particular page is basically introductory information on disability conditions. So once again, if individuals who are developing syllabi, teaching young children with special needs, implications for development, or some variation of that course, would be able to look up some specific information regarding disability conditions that are probable in interacting with young children with special needs.
Bill, can I just add that this is what Gwen, our graduate assistant, has been really working diligently on.
Yeah, thank you. Gwen Katz, the doctoral student who works with us on the grant, has done a great job of pulling together materials. And she and Sheila have worked together to provide some format. And as I mentioned, it's looking pretty good right now, but we may move a few things around or restructure. You'll be happy to see, those of you who are DC members, that we have posted the NAEYC and DC standards so that individuals will see how they fit the bigger picture. As you would expect, most individuals in community college programs in early childhood are familiar with NAEYC. DC presents a value-added opportunity for them to look at ways to index their course content with DEC standards as well. Comment? Question? This is an advertisement for hot button issues with respect to the partner project, and as Laurie mentioned, we have a 6-hour workshop scheduled for the OAEYC conference in Columbus, Saturday, April 21st, and we're looking forward to certainly seeing early childhood faculty from our 3 partner institutions, as well as others, faculty members across the state who are invited to attend.
Great. Bill, could you go back to the regular homepage, the partner project homepage, and the areas of focus?
Yep. Areas of focus. Yes.
These areas of focus are the areas that OSAP requires us to look at when we're working with community colleges. So this is actually a cooperative agreement. It's not necessarily a grant. So there is a significant amount of involvement by OSAP in kind of structuring what we're doing. So these areas are areas that they have identified as particularly important in terms of helping paraeducators and early childhood teachers learn more about working with kids who have special needs and their families. There's also, I think if you go down to the one with national centers, there are a number of different national centers that I think many of you are probably familiar with. The one at the bottom, the Connect Center, if you haven't looked at the Connect modules yet, you definitely should. Those, again, were specified in the RFP as resources that we needed to include. OSAP has supported the National Professional Development Center on Inclusion significantly, and these are their modules that they've developed. So they're great. They're evidence-based practice, a focus on helping teachers learn about evidence-based practice in these different areas. So they are curriculum materials that we'll be focusing on helping faculty in two-year colleges really use those to their fullest potential in terms of embedding them into their courses and so on.
I feel like Vanna White here moving this.
Yeah. One of the things that we'd love for you to do is look through the website, particularly the areas of focus. We imagine that this is going to be changing on a regular basis, that we'll be working on it and updating it. If you run across different resources that you think would be useful for faculty in Ohio's community colleges to be aware of, and we don't have a link to it, please let us know, because we really want to be able to make this a great resource for faculty members. For me, anyway, I think that I'm always looking for good quality curriculum materials that I can share with my students, particularly things that are easily available, that are open source, that are digital, that I can download or that I can email to different people. And so, you know, that's sort of what we're focusing on in this project. So If you know some other things, please share them with us. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else about the website?
This is Lisa. Could I just give you just a bit of feedback?
Absolutely.
I do sort of a multi-session course, not really a course, it's a professional development for my local R&R, and I invite usually the child care providers are who come. And I will tell you what hooks them up every time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my director said we can't take children with special health care needs. Or what do they mean when they say, and this goes on and on and on. And so when we say special needs, we mean one thing, but some of the child care providers, when they hear special needs, they think this is a child who has a sort of a health condition.
Mm-hmm.
So there is language about that in licensing regulations in this state about what you can do and how you can do it. So I would suggest a link of some sort, just because I know the question's going to come up because it has for the last few years I've done this. And it's amazing to me. They're not concerned, you know, the overall concern is not how can I work with this child, it's, well, they have a special health care need.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Oh my. So if there's some way to work that in.
Right. Do you have any pointers? Do you have any links to any sites or anything?
Well, I have actually given them information from the Ohio licensing. Actually, I pulled things out of licensing. And
from ODJ.
Donna, you may know more about this than I do about how to navigate through some of that. But I just feel like that should not be a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's more of a reassuring, here's what the rules say and here's what you can do,
right,
kind of thing. And I don't know that all of them, most of them who attend, I actually give them hard copies of things because they go back to their directors and say, well, this is what the rule says.
Right.
Doesn't say I can't do it.
Right.
So, but I almost have to put a piece of paper in their hands to sort of help them have that conversation at the center level.
Yeah. Okay, that's
They certainly could, you know, not just check with licensing and looking at that website, but also maybe linking to the Healthy Child Care Ohio consultants who can provide some of that medical, you know, connection for them and information if that's the area they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Donna, I have used that in the past, but the resources around that project and that group are getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah, they have become slimmer. However, with the Early Learning Challenge grant, we'll see that those services being enhanced.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's good.
And Donna, this is Katrina and Lisa. Didn't we discover with the Special Quest work that the definitions that the special ed community uses and the definition of special needs in ODGFS licensing are different, that we all use the word special needs differently?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think that's where some of the misunderstanding comes in with those special health care needs kind of things, the special needs. And, you know, we found, and I know, Laurie, I'm sure you found this as well, that with working with child care staff, they often don't know, you know, when you even ask if you have a child who's been identified, you know, they don't really understand that. And then if you delve a little deeper and say, do you have anybody getting speech services? And then they go on to say, oh, yeah, we have this one, this one, this one. So just the definitions and the understanding, and that's one of the reasons I think this project is so valuable, so to help us with that in the field.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's great feedback. Yeah, the Healthy Child Care Ohio, that's a great link. We'll find that and add it to our website.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Other questions or comments, advice, guidance?
This is Kim. One of the pieces that I liked, and I saw it in your presentation, was you talked about some of the communication with parents. And as I'm doing some special quest trainings and training with staff in child care centers, they're often saying to me, well, parents don't tell me their child has an IFSP or an IEP or they're getting therapies. And sometimes families, I'm hearing from families, they're afraid to say anything about it because they're afraid their child will get kicked out because now they're labeled.
Right.
When in fact the child was successfully placed and was doing okay with some support. So I think it's an area that we have to challenge ourselves in staff training is how do you open the doors of communication with families and how do you help them know it's okay to ask for help and to ask for modifications or accommodations for your child in that setting. I think they're so fearful because they have to work as a parent. You don't want to say too much to have your child be blocked from support, but you need to say something so that your child's adequately supported. So there's a really tough balance for families in that area. I think it goes along with the definition of how we define special needs as well, because some parents may view that term very differently.
Good point. Good. There's a great, through the Connect modules, one of the modules is on working with families. And Kim, I'll have to share with you a handout that I found. I really like that one of the things they talk about is they have kind of different levels of relationships. You know, kind of the first level being just kind of, you know, hi, how are you doing? I can talk, you know, engage in small talk and do other things, but really making sure that you have a solid partnership with families so that when you get to the point where you have to talk about uncomfortable topics or whatever, that you already have established a good working relationship. So I thought that was a pretty neat handout that I'm actually going to share with students in the graduate classes that I teach.
There's the module Laurie was discussing.
Yep, there's the module on family professional partnerships. And some of the other things that we, in the Connect modules and in the Special Quest modules, for those of you who might not be aware, you know, these days technology is so great that there's lots of different video clips about that really help people understand this situation or understand how to use different strategies. So there are definitely things that are included as resources. In addition to Special Quest and Connect, we have links to the Head Start Center on Inclusion. They also have a lot of different curriculum materials to share in the Ocali website. They have the AIM modules, the Autism Internet modules, which are really terrific in terms of good, solid, evidence-based practice on different types of intervention strategies. Even, you know, even though it says working with kids or people who have autism, we all know that there are strategies that work with many different individuals who have special needs. So I'm really excited to be able to share the information that we have with faculty at two-year colleges, because I don't think that many of them are aware of a lot of the resources that are out there. Other comments? Kim, thanks for sharing that perspective. Stacy, can I put you on the spot? Is there anything that you could say about our experiences so far? They've been pretty user-friendly.
Yes, they've been very user-friendly. And I really appreciated, you know, being new here and then being the full-time faculty, just having the time with that retreat to get to know my faculty. But we just finished, you know, we have just submitted all the rubrics for our syllabi, and it's really enlightening to see. I think we have a lot of growth because if you notice, we have a lot of 1s, not 5s. So really seeing that and getting more connections and having more resources is always going to be beneficial for my faculty. A lot of them are retired and have been in the field for a long time, but maybe don't have the latest opportunities to really, like the modules, for example. Most of them don't know, or they don't come from the special ed world. But I also think the conversation around what is special needs that comes up in my classes a lot, too. When every time they do an observation, it's always part of their form that they would say, they would find out how many children are in IEPs, and they'll come back and say, well, I didn't see anyone who had special needs. So there are no children in this classroom. And that's just being able to provide more experiences for our students where they see the shift in what it means to be special needs and the multiple needs out there, I think was going to be highly beneficial for both the faculty and our students. And it really correlates well because we're also doing NACE accreditation right now, which seems a little overwhelming, but I think it'll all come together.
Right. Good. Thank you, Stacy.
Great, thanks.
Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? If you don't feel, if you would prefer to email us with information, that would be fantastic, or call or whatever, we'd be happy. We welcome your guidance and your support. We were just really happy that you agreed to be on our advisory board because you have so much information to share, as you already did, that we're lucky, and we think that our project will really benefit from your involvement. I also kind of knew when we scheduled an hour and a half for today's webinar that we weren't going to take an hour and a half. So everybody could use a little extra time in their lives, I'm sure.
We already
Yes.
had Lisa link with Don and Kim to give us a resource, so that wasn't bad right off the get-go.
Yeah, that's great.
Very good.
Carrie? Was that your voice?
Laurie?
Yes.
It's Katrina.
Oh, hi, Katrina.
When I look at the rubric for assessing community college course syllabi and some of the participant needs assessment, that information you sent us, I really applaud the work of this this grant, this opportunity. And I know it's embedded in here about collaborating with licensed and certified related services professionals, practitioners. But I think, and it might be year 2 or 3, to really, I think that piece is so important because really child care workers and preschool teachers and everyone should see themselves as part of a team.
Yes.
And so the community college students as well as the child care providers really have a responsibility to themselves also to begin demanding that the people who should be providing the services, so if they have a child with special needs, you know, that child gets linked to the system if the family wants that, and that those professionals come into and provide supports to that child care worker and be a team partner with them within that context.
Right.
Because I think from the interventionist side of it, we tend to stay out of that, maybe because we've been seen as not welcomed for whatever those reasons are, but I think this is a really golden opportunity for workers to welcome interventionists and for also to demand that they be there.
Yeah. I think that from my perspective, and Bill's working with itinerant teachers, there's so much confusion across the board about who's supposed to do what. And what is the role of a related service provider or an early intervention specialist or an early childhood special ed teacher? What is that person's role? And when we talk about the importance of coaching and modeling, but general early childhood teachers think that that person's job is to just provide therapies. And, you know, that really, really gets in the way. So I agree with you. I think we have a lot of work to do across the state in terms of...
I don't think professionals do anything to dissuade.
Oh, no, absolutely. I don't think they do either. Many times, you know, I mean, at least Bill can, you know, chime in too, but a lot of the itinerant teachers that we've talked with, I think would prefer just being able to pull the kid aside or pull that child out of the room and work with the child instead of collaborating with the other adults.
And Laurie, this is Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes us back to and I don't know how we might, or I'll look through the materials a little more, but it's such a relationship-based issue across the board.
Yeah.
An establishment of trust. So I think that I want to go in and look at the relationship piece and stuff like that, but from a birth to 2 perspective, we spend a lot of time building relationships in our collaborations so that you have that trust. And how can we as we continue that, and not just kind of let it go, oh, it's a different world now.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You know, is why some parents are so grieved when they have to move from Part C services to Part B.
Mm-hmm. And in the model that we have, our service coordination piece and our service provision piece work as a team, but that's really, really based on they've established trust, no matter what their role is. Not that they agree on everything, but it just lays the groundwork for things to go in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, though, we've, from a systems change or a structural perspective, Bill and I recently did an in-service with some teachers in Ohio, and they said that their practice was, the preschool supervisor's practice was to make sure that the itinerant teachers changed who they worked with every couple of years. And wow. You know, he said, why in the world would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you, you've had time to build a relationship with people. Why would you want to make that change? And so, I think that there's a lot of, work to be done. Katrina and Karen, when you talked about a lot of work, I think there's a ton of work.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you for sharing an hour with us. Thank you for your patience as we kind of work through the technology piece of this. And we're looking forward to hearing you. And thanks for your support of our project.
And Laurie?
Yes.
Just before we close, to point out that Laurie and I will be meeting with the faculty at Terra Community College who have submitted their syllabi and their evaluation rubrics, and we'll be talking with them and working with them with respect to resources that might support some of the areas that they would like to expand within their syllabi. So that will be something we'll be able to report on the next time we have a session, and I think it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The next meeting that we have, the next webinar, we will definitely be able to share data with you, and hopefully that can help guide our project. Well, I hope you
Laurie,
all...
do we know when...
I'm sorry? Kim?
Do you know when you're going to plan the next webinar? Had you have a...
The next webinar for the advisory board?
Yes.
Probably not for... I think we talked about doing them quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't established the date for the next one. Any suggestions?
Lisa's last day of work?
Or not good times?
Yeah.
We'll look at our calendars and send out some different dates for it, and then hopefully get input that way.
Probably perhaps the summer vacation wave breaks out in July, so probably before the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
Bye.